Happy Wednesday, class. I hope it's been a good week for you so far, and that wherever you are in the United States, that you're staying out of this crazy heat wave that's been going through. North Carolina has been exceptionally hot, too hot even for my dog to want to take a walk, so you know that's hot. I was hoping that this personal announcement would help you to feel a little bit more connected to the class. I know that one of the challenges of online classes is just feeling like you have a personal connection, not only with your classmates, but also with your instructor too. So hopefully I'll be able to do this throughout the course and help you to feel that I'm a real person, not just a name behind a screen. And hopefully you all feel comfortable approaching me, asking me questions, and asking for help when you get confused. First of all, I wanted to say how proud I am of each of you for the hard work that you're putting into your activities each and every week. I know that it's challenging sometimes to work through the course material and to know what we should be doing, but I'm proud of each of you, and I've really enjoyed getting to know each of you throughout this term and hope that you feel the same. So, one thing that I wanted to cover with you this week is the concept of question stems. And I've got the screen split so that hopefully you can see my screen that is on the Unit 4 link in Blackboard. And I wanted to bring your attention here to the Unit 4 discussion board, Study Strengths and Learning Preferences. And it says that after reviewing this week's materials, you're to create a new thread and share the following. And the first question is, what is your learning preference? So if I were answering this question on the discussion board myself, the way that I would rephrase that with a question stem would be, my learning preference is, and then list your learning preference, whether that's auditory, visual, or kinesthetic. And then how can this be an advantage or disadvantage in an online learning environment? I would rephrase that into a question stem by saying, being a visual learner is an advantage because, or being a visual learner is a disadvantage in an online learning environment because, and then list your reasons. The same thing with all of the other questions that you see, taking your specific learning preferences and dominant intelligences into consideration. What new strategies will you implement moving forward? You could rephrase that by saying, knowing that I'm a visual learner, I'm going to implement these strategies moving forward, and then list your strategies. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more of how to construct your responses each week. It also makes it a little bit easier for me to read if things are organized instead of you just copying and pasting the question and then putting your response. If it's organized into a paragraph that flows well, it's a little bit easier for me to read. I also wanted to bring your attention to the peer discussions portion right here that says reply to two classmates and further the discussion by asking questions or adding commentary. I wanted to highlight this portion. Responses should be at least 3 to 5 sentences each. It's really important when you respond to your peers on the discussion board that you're trying to further the conversation. So quick one sentence, responses or one question without any further commentary doesn't really give your classmate a lot to go on when they are reading that and trying to respond back. So when you're responding to your peers, think about the content for this week and think about what you could say to them that would help them build upon what you've learned this week. Also, you could share personal experiences of things that have helped you, or if they've asked a question, you could reply to it. So I hope that that helps you understand a little bit more of what is expected with the peer responses. Also, I've noticed that some of you are not responding to peers on the discussion board each week. So I encourage you, if you have missed doing that in any of the previous units, that you go back and do that, and I can rescore your response to give you additional points for that. So I want you all to succeed and feel like you're building connections on the discussion board. I have completed all of the grading for Unit 3 work that has been submitted thus far, and so your grades are posted And I wanted to bring your attention on the side of the Blackboard screen. There is a link here that says My Grades. If you click on that link, it should bring you to a screen that will give you your grades. And for each individual assignment, there will appear what looks like a little speech bubble. And if you click on the speech bubble, you'll see my individualized feedback to each of you. That gives you suggestions for improvement, compliments on what you've done well. And if you have any questions about your assignment, if you're confused when you read your feedback and you want additional suggestions for how you can improve, please email me and I'll be happy to provide that for you. Also, just a shout out for Grammarly this week. Grammar is another thing that continually causes students to not earn full rubric points for their assignments. So I encourage you, if you have not created a Grammarly account yet, that you do that this week. And you do that by going to this link, Grammarly and Academic Writer. You click on it, and it will bring you to a screen that says Grammarly Premium Setup. And here it just gives you instructions for setting up the Grammarly account with your name, your post email, and your made up password. And then it gives you the access code if you're ever prompted for it. The fantastic thing about Grammarly is that it edits all of your responses in real time. It highlights misspelled words, gives you suggestions for where you should insert commas. If you've forgotten punctuation, it will remind you about that. So I really suggest that you do that this week. It will save you a lot of time and headache of going back and potentially missing things grammar related that you just don't pick up on. I use it every day and I love it. So anyway, I hope that you will be able to study this week for your midterm. Remember that it is cumulative, so it covers everything in units 1 through 4 that we have covered so far. One suggestion I might have for you would be to go back to the e-textbook for all the lessons that you've read from chapters 1 through 4. Make a note of what those lessons are and begin going back and rereading, highlighting within your e-text to highlight any important information that you might want to remember. And also to keep in mind that the midterm exam is different from a unit quiz. You only get 2 opportunities to take it and your highest score stands. So I would not attempt taking the midterm exam just to try it out and to see what kinds of questions are on it, because then if you don't do well, you'll have used one of your opportunities and you'll only have one left. I hope that helps you to understand a little bit more about what's expected this week. And please, as always, reach out to me if you have questions or concerns. I'm here for you, and make it a fantastic week.